Welcome into the Sober in the States Road to Glory, episode 8. We are doing massive things. Are we moving to champ? I don't know. Zach, the man with the plan himself, has that idea. Alex here, as always, ignoring responsibilities because there are more important matters. That important matter is we're trying to figure out if we're winning so rare. And if we're going to be talking about winning, we need to bring on the one person that does the most winning, the serial winner himself, Bob Orangefly. So I just need it off the rip. Bob, how do we know if we're winning so rare?
I don't know. Just like gallery, see what happens. Don't buy Luton in Southampton. Like that's the best one. You guys like, man? No, it's honestly this week, dude. Like I did not play well at all this week, but I won Essence. I won Essence in boxes, and I got my stud from PSG, and it was absolutely fantastic, dude. And I'm not going to try to pronounce his name here because it's going to sound horrible, and we might get edited and deleted for it. But
we don't do that here.
I don't know what his name is. Hold on. It's that guy who scores the goals and kicks the balls and stuff. Crap.
That's what we're here for. Guys that kick balls and stuff.
Who does he play for?
And stuff. Hold on. Yes, me. It's their. Oh man, I'm an idiot because he's one of the most popular cards in the game. So don't.
Wait, who does he play for?
It's Johan Bakayoko. So.
Oh, for PSV.
Yeah. So he's okay from what I hear, right? No. But no, so I mean, I saved up for a T3 craft, 100 Essence, and it seems like Essence has been nerfed a little bit. If you guys felt this at all, like I haven't been seeing a lot of big Essence pulls lately, but really pumped about it, man. You craft a T3 and you get a star, like absolutely fantastic way to start the week, man. Plus, Liverpool's playing well, Sporting's playing well. Let's go Portugal. Like we got it all, right, Zach?
Oh, yeah.
See,
let's go.
That brings up the most important matter
for the Federation.
You're winning Essence. You're winning Essence. You're pulling cards. You are winning. So Zach, this is your road to glory. You're the one that brought up this whole winning situation. So what happened this past week that we are now having this conversation about winning and even talking about scouting champ? Because that's the big boy division.
Yeah. So if you want to just throw up my screen real quick, so I've been kind of tracking, and this might be small, so I can blow it up here. Well. Might be too far.
Oh, and shout out to Jay.
So I've been tracking the game weeks for when I have some lineups in, just to see like, is this working? What we've been doing these last what are we, episode 8? So has this been amounted to really anything? So obviously on the midweeks, which are the evens, I don't really have a gallery there, so going to strike out there. So what I ended up doing was just kind of looking through and saying, all right, how many lineups have I put in? 29 potential lineups to win. I've hit a box or card 14 times, so I'm hitting about 50% right now. Is that winning? That's the question. Because before I ran all this, I didn't feel like I was winning. And I've busted a lot of Essence, like an open card or like in crafted cards and opened a few. It just didn't feel like winning until I did this. And I'm like, at 50% win rate, like, yeah, I'm winning,
Huge.
Maybe it's time to maybe hold on to some Essence and let it build up and try to, move into a tier 3 craft or hold for a tier 2 or something. But then moving into champs, now we're going to switch gears in this whole champ idea. This came from the Silver Data Show yesterday with Sean. 5K to start. Somebody had posted on Twitter, 5K to start. If they were going to start today, they never played Silver 5K. And they were talking about going into champ, which makes the most sense. Champ rare, to be specific. And then what league? They were talking Bundesliga. So then I'm thinking, my Essence pool is being diluted. It's either U23 or Challenger. That's all I'm getting. So if I move into champ, I dilute the pool a little bit more, but I also have the ability to maybe pull better cards on my crafts. Because even a Star Challenger card, while great for my particular gallery, is not great for the road to glory here, which is getting into reds right now. That's like the idea, going wide right now and then moving up to rare. So that's where I'm at right now. Like getting a little bit wider, but bypassing contender, bypassing contender,
Right.
and moving into champ, just to increase my essence pool. That's the only thought really, is get the essence pool where I want it.
So,
No,
Zach, real quick, just going
Yeah.
back to anyone that didn't listen before, are you ripping T5 crafts every time with the essence?
T5
on
crafts
your
every
repertoire?
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how have you been doing with that? Have you been hitting higher cards? Like, have you been tearing up? Like, how has that been going so far for you?
So I think it's been mostly tier 5s, but I have hit 3 tier 3s. That's as high as it's gone. So that's been pretty, In fact, if I pull up, let's see, let's go, or no, not that one. I want to go to the reason why I have a tier 2 to open, which we will get to in just a second here, is this was a craft. Oh, wrong week. Is it this one?
it's one of them.
This was a craft from a T5 Essence right here. Lucas Itter,
Oh.
who has been crushing it. And, this was my throwaway lineup. This was my pry-up, which did all right. Got me a box. Just couldn't quite push enough. Didn't get enough decisives. 2 DMPs did not see coming. And then, this was kind of my remainder, guys. And this lineup kind of smashed. And it smashed in D5. But got me a tier 2 out of it. So, could be worse. But yeah, this was one of my crafts for a T5, and ended up being and he may have moved up now at this point because he's been putting up monster scores. But let's go back and see where this card's at.
Got to tell
Dude,
you,
that
Jack, that Luca Itter.
So yeah,
He
that's
was-
kind of why I wanted to move.
Luca
Luca
Itter
Itter.
was the first card that the first super rare card that I bought for my 240 run, like last year or 2 years ago. I bought that Luca Itter super rare, and he helps hit a ton of thresholds. Like, the guy is solid, just all around. That team is really good. They were relegated a couple years back. They finished like 4th or 5th last year. They're always at the top of the Bundesliga too. He's always involved in different pieces. He's a strong center back. Like, he's a excellent, relatively budget card to have that can put up big scores like that. So, like, well on you for that one. That's a great rip, man.
And that's the definition of road to
Yeah.
glory. You pull it.
I mean, and I just started looking into that team. Yeah.
Man, I love that team.
And
They've got
like, and
American
now he's an
superstars
in-season
being
card. It
great.
gets me closer. Yeah, but it gets me closer to maybe getting into contender in season. Now that I've kind of pulled a few cards of players that are decent enough, it's just like getting that last piece in there to really put together a lineup,
So,
which I think is So Rare's idea, right? That's what they want at a classic.
mhm. So
That's
for
the
you
beautiful thing.
guys, I mean, MLS focused a lot of that stuff. If you are going to do a road to glory, and are you going to focus on, obviously classic cards are cheaper, but like, is there any world in which you try to buy a Bundesliga in-season team because they're number one, there aren't as many people entering that competition right now for a chance to win more cash, to build your way up, more essence, to build your way up to those T3s, T2 star kind of guys? Like, is the Bundesliga, like, I know that Sean and Larry talked about it yesterday, but it feels like the Bundesliga and like those leagues are for bang for buck when it comes to champ, Zach. It seems like that is a really great place to go. La Liga is even there as well. But just, I mean, obviously there are certain teams that are better here and there, and I'm really curious what you guys
That's Alex's play. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean that's
You can't. Don't spoil it. That's my thing.
So, yeah. I'm curious to see if Bundesliga after that episode. I know it's not a huge podcast. I know like not everybody that plays Sorare watches those guys. I'm just curious to see if they end up pushing the entrance number up. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. For me, man, like I'm an MLS guy, and so when I started this, it was specifically to just get into Europe or get into Asia or get into wherever, South America, just places that I don't know the players or the guys, and just see where it takes me. And again, at a 50% success rate right now, just winning something, it has been going pretty well. I mean, most of it's due to Alex, except for when I started bidding on auctions like crazy. That was that kind of got out of control. But I
Great
don't
scout, terrible
mind
for your
going
wallet.
classic. It I don't mind going classic for the essence because I actually enjoy that part of the game a little bit more than like the cash rewards necessarily. Because sometimes it's just fun to craft. Like this is a hobby and not like a livelihood for me. I'm not Pranksy winning 46 boxes and 8 ETH a week. Like that's just not what I need out of this. I just need fun. And fun to me is sliding a little bar and watching a green or a yellow thing go down and seeing what pops out if the animation works.
We're working in a digital factory. That's all we're here for. Or you could be like Cameron, who won 25 pounds, which is 6% of his gallery value. So you're hitting at a 50% rate. He won 6% of his gallery value within a week. There are multiple ways to win. And we do it. Scouting, degenning, all that fun stuff. So
Yeah.
is the plan to go into Bundesliga? Like it's really what you're thinking about now? Or does it depend on what you're about to pull with this T2 that we have? Well, that maybe dictate where you go.
Well, the T2, I think the T2 is just something to boost the challenger or the contender cards, and maybe this thing being in season helps me, push in season on a contender lineup. So we'll see what happens when we hit this button. But I was just looking at my gallery, and when I filter it down to actual champ cards, I have 16 champ cards. Most of it is an Auger stack
If you
with
want
a
to pull
few
it up.
randoms in between, like a Cherky. God. All right, yeah. All right, let me crack this card first, and then we'll.
All right, yeah, we'll do that. We'll get into it. Trust me, I get confused.
Let's just
with all
crack the card, and
screen
then we'll
shares,
get into the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was going to
All
be.
right, time to look him up. I have no idea. Does anybody know who he is?
I thought it was going to be Gunnar Freith again.
Yeah, he played. I mean, he played for Gunnar Firth last year.
The
So
stack continues.
yes, he did. That's a solid card, man. Solid card.
Oh, scores
Yeah.
look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now
yes,
I'll switch screens here. Let's see.
Zach, I really struggle on the champ
Let's see,
side
screen share.
because a lot of my friends are trying to make that transition to the in-season side, and their essential approach is I want a couple studs to play in my other divisions. I want to have a guy like a Rodri or a Kimmich or something like that. Obviously, you want a stud that is a classic card, which is considerably cheaper, and then build around those guys with the highest probability of pulling back cash to then reinvest and buy back or take out with whatever you want. And so I'm trying to figure out what is actually ideal because every time I win money, it burns a hole in my pocket and it has to immediately go back out again. And so
Same.
I'm trying to figure out like who those guys are. Like if you are buying those guys, are you looking for a classic like Pascal Gross if you're going to do like the Bundesliga competition who is a smasher and he's not that expensive, or do you go for the Grimaldo type guy in a classic version? And I think like the differences between the two are like $80. Like it's a huge swing in price from in season to classic. And like I was really trying to put together a team earlier today because I believe that it's not really good to have two teams that you're putting in. It's better to have one team with like 7 cards with studs so you can play the matchups properly and go at it and just try to win with one, as opposed to spreading yourself too thin and going with 2. And so I'm really curious, like what the overall thought is. Like if you're doing it in MLS, like are you going for like that, classic Cucho, and you're building around a classic Cucho with in-season guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, so I'm going to probably keep it classic. Like the prices would have to be right for me to go to in season. I think I could just get more value out of classic guys, and I understand because again, the idea is that I'm not playing for podium.
Yeah.
If I get there, great, but I'm playing to get into the box zone. That's what I want. I want the essence in order to be able to see what I can pull out of that, because that's going to get me to the next stage of this whole thing, which is a second team, whether it be in season or just adding a few classic guys to an in season card or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Dude,
Alex,
this dude comes in. Look at this super sub. Hold on. Look at this.
Yeah.
Dude does not They just not play. If he gets in there, he's putting in the back of the net. If he gets in, it's kind of
That's
crazy. But yeah,
That's screaming MLS. That is a typical. That's an MLS smasher right there. Oh man. Nope. It's interesting
speaking of
how.
which, the King was back this weekend, but we'll save that for.
Yeah. It's interesting that the idea that in season seems to be the most attractive place because that cash is there. But how we've seen, like, if you grind classic, and I know everyone's like on this whole classic is dead thing, but you see it perfectly. Like you're hitting at 50%, you're crafting essence. You had a T5 pull already that helped you win a T2. So that's kind of the grind, right? And like you were saying, you grind it, you build out sideways, you get yourself in a solid position. Maybe you do kind of ease your way into in season or sell some rewards, and then you can start talking about moving up. I'm kind of in the camp like you, Zach, where it's like if you build a solid foundation in classic, like it's almost like everything else just kind of snowballs in a way. If you can get that solid,
And this
then you
comes
can
from
have your
Bob.
smashers and in season.
Yeah. So this whole philosophy to me comes from Bob back when I heard him. I guess it was on an SD show, but he could have been with Trip. I can't remember, where he was talking about 240, and not just 240, but 240 using Bundesliga 2, second La Liga, like using second division to hit 240. That was kind of the idea when I started this. I said, all right, let's take that approach in the new game, where you're looking for the value of not hitting podium. That's not where the value lies. The value lies in just getting wins to see where you can get to. And I mean, that philosophy kind of guided this whole thing. Like I kind of regret having this share sack now. They've been terrible. It hit week 1. Which is fine, whatever, like they'll move to classic and it'll be fun. Because I wasn't ready to go to in season. That's really what the problem was. I wasn't ready for in season, But then it snowballed with the Mamardashvili, which getting that auction, which I didn't think was going to go for the price I just put a bid on, and so like then it just kind of was spiraling on me, and I was like, all right, I gotta just stop for right now. So I probably could have turned those guys into like a champ team, a classic champ team from the get-go, if I hadn't have done that. But can't look back on it now. So now I just have to like move forward, and like to me, like putting more money in is not saying that I didn't do this well, because like again, 50% hit rate, it's working. Card values are going to go down. That's part of it. So yeah, why not like keep it going? Another good news, Jota got some burn for Rennes this weekend. He came off the bench, which I was pretty excited about since I bought one as soon as I heard he was moving.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, Jorge, I like how Zach just kind of framed that, because like you said, like in the past, 240 got you that like cap threshold kind of piece. And looking at Essence like its threshold reward, it's kind of a neat little way to visualize like what's going on. It's kind of like I know you have to beat a certain amount of people to get there, but it's like the beat the game aspect. And like it's all up to you as the user grinding your way and getting there, and then making the decision as to when you're going to craft. Are you going to risk it? Is it fun? Like when do you want to rip? Like it's kind of fun for content, and it's kind of fun for you as the user to be able to control that decision. Because if you rip a T5 and you get a T5, that's on you, right? If you rip a T0 and you get a T5, that's a problem, But I mean, I think that there is a pretty big, I don't think a lot of people talk about this when it comes to in-season versus classic. I think that if you are going to go hard at classic, if you have studs, like you're obviously going to return a lot more. Look at a gallery like Heydinho. Like his team is stacked with Premier League rare studs, just like across the board. And he's been finishing top 10 or so in D1 Prem Classic for the last few weeks. And what he's been able to do is get a ton of essence. He's been able to win a bunch of cards, win like a Nick Pope in season, which all of a sudden opens up the doors when you win an in season goalie. And then he's been crafting stuff. Like he crafted a Vicario goalkeeper. Like it's insane when you actually like see what it takes to get there. You have to have approaches because I mean Zach made a great point that not everybody can, like there's only 3 people that are going to hit the podium every single week, and they usually take some really big teams and big scores to get there. And so it comes down to, is it smarter to pay more for T2 type guys in chase, a couple of dollars here and there and in season? Or is it more intelligent to pay the same price and buy the lower tier star kind of guys for that price in classic and work your way up there and get boxes and work through? And I'm really curious. I know Peter Stoyanovich has done like a whole bunch of math and stuff like that on Essence, but I really wonder what most of the community thinks and like and what their approach is, because I think that it's something to really think about. I mean, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I have a bunch of crappy guys on in season. I'm really upset that I bought them, but then I look at the guys that are doing well for me. They are my sporting, my Sporting Lisbon guys. My Chelsea, like my one Chelsea guy. Whose name happens to be Cole Palmer. But like like all you guys. Yep. So it's just a really unique mix of like which way you go and what makes you happy. Because I love how you framed it, that if you track the boxes that you win, you can show that you're actually winning. And I think a lot of people have had to do that shift, because I remember the conversation when I had that 240 talk, Zach. A lot of people were complaining like, I'm just winning money, I'm not winning cards. And it's amazing how within like a year or two since that conversation, now the only thing people want is money. Like people don't even care about winning cards at this point anymore, which is a really weird sort of thing with everybody switching to season. So there's this dichotomy in the environment. And I think it's very clear that some users want cash rewards all the time, other users want cards all the time. Like, and what is the balance? And I think I actually like the boxes. I would love to be able to win more, but I also understand that the amount of essence that comes in will drive what I can and can't craft, And I mean, I've made a personal note that when it comes to limited, like you, Zach, I'm ripping at T5, hoping to get lucky because there's just so many limiteds out there. I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
But because the rare essence is taking more time to get in, I'm waiting until I get up to that T3 level, and then I'm ripping from there. Like I have no idea what to do with super rare, but it's just a really unique kind of aspect that I think everybody needs to figure out for themselves. And right now, I have fun with my classic cards. My classic cards are playing well at the moment. I think it's just a really kind of cool part of the game, especially on a week like this with the UCL. So, but yeah, I don't know.
No.
I get. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
Alex.
go.
No, because I'm going to talk for a while if I talk. So go ahead.
Okay.
I have one point to make real quick, that just piggybacking on Bob. It's that you were ahead of the game on the 240 when everybody wanted cards. You saw the value in 240. I think Essence is severely undervalued still, and this is where the Sorare will catch up when people catch up, and we will not be seeing 10 Essence boxes. 3 is going to be the box that we're chasing, and the 1s are going to be the normal. 10s and 20s are going to be gone before we know it, and we're going to relive these days wishing we were getting those. But
Early
people
days.
haven't caught on yet to the value of the Essence, and I think it's hard because nobody can really put a dollar amount on it. So you don't feel like you're winning, like I was saying earlier. It doesn't feel like you're winning until you really look at it. So get it now, because I have a feeling we're going to be in for a drastic cut on Essence at some point.
It's funny because I kind of said that this weekend too, and that's something I was really thinking about it. But no, Zach, I think the greatest thing that you brought up here is that it wasn't until you wrote it down and actually looked at it, you're like, oh, I'm actually winning at 50%. Like now you feel better about it, where I see all this chatter about people not appreciating Essence or not really counting winning Essence and rewards as like rewarding, and they're not really seeing the value of it. Where like it is 100% undervalued, but you're winning. You are literally winning 50% to the point where like that actually means something. And what people have to realize is that a lot of us that were here early obviously had money to spend because it was a lot harder and a lot more expensive to buy in. But you got to think of the majority of users, whatever mass numbers we get to, they're not going to have that bankroll. So the people that are playing, the mass users, are going to be low budget, playing for boxes, trying to get, like, they're not all going to come in here and be able to afford those smashers. So switching the conversation of what is you need to do this, and like the conversation should be, hey, really Google Sheets it and get the mentality of like, hey, I am hitting and you are winning, and like this is the game now. You accumulate essence, and you're proof that you could pull a T5 and still win a tier 2. I'm gonna go back to that all day. That a tier 5 pull got you into a top place to win a tier
Yeah.
2, and like that's rewarding. Y'all need to. It's just it is what it is. Tides change, all right, and that's where we're at, right, Alex? The more important matters.
Yep. All right. Now I can tell. Now I can tell my personal account
Well,
of what
actually,
Bob
I
was
was
talking.
gonna note.
Yeah. So Bob was bringing up the classic discussion, and so I can show you. I went back. So early 2024, I played So Rare the wrong way, and what I did is I was flushing cards in and out of my gallery all the time. So here's what like I would be losing money on every card. This is what a game would look like for me. Really weird cards in my gallery. Fuck Fontas for this still. But like it would be really shitty put together like Sporting KC mixed with some MLS guys. And so for a while I played that. I can find another one, but this is how I went about playing for a while. Here's some more. Just picking up random guys. QPR stack for what? Oh, I was at this game. That's why. But like Orlando, who would buy that? But it was just really weird teams, and so around the beginning, I would say like May-ish, I re-looked at how I was playing, and I immediately turned to, all right, how I need to play this is I need to just invest in Smash. Classic cards were so much cheaper than in season, like he was saying, and it just became a thing of me wanting to, win, and that's so how I sort of changed my gallery. And so I started buying Cucho. I bought back into Kai Wagner. I have like every Smash top midfielder in my gallery, every Smash forward in my gallery for MLS because it was MLS focused. And then they brought in the challenger aspect, and it worked out because I had some Turkish guys too. And then that's when I really started diving into rare, and then diversifying with La Liga and stuff like that. And now I unexpectedly I built a gallery where boxes are centralized. I put together anywhere between 20 25 lineups per week, and I win anywhere from 5 to 15 boxes. And I have to agree with all of y'all when you're saying essence is key. It is undervalued because you're getting the smashers, and although it is extremely hard to pair up those peaks to get a high reward, you're giving yourself such a high floor whenever you're playing. Those boxes they flood in. And so I barely prioritize in season. I only do for MLS now because they're the exact same price as classic cards. But for my European exploration, I haven't needed to go to in season yet because just I'm getting boxes and I'm getting tier 4, tier 5, tier 3s like once every 2 weeks. And I'm slowly building up. Like it's a shitty in-season gallery. Don't get me wrong, but it's an in-season gallery, so it's something. So I really think if you're going to go for a whatever league it is, I also brought up 2 different teams that we can go over if you're actually interested in going to Champ Europe and buying a stack, Zach. But
or just players. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but I feel like you have to go a Smash team or a Smash, collection of players from different teams, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to really compete, unless you strictly like are playing for fun. Because even boxes nowadays are getting a little bit hard. You got to put up like 280, which doesn't seem like much, but you can have a DNP or something and be out of a box. So I really do like that talk about classic cards being where you should stay if you want to mix fun with also winning.
Speaking of
that's
promotions,
my TikTok.
do you have any? Does anybody here have Salzburg cards?
I have one.
You have one.
I have one.
So
Yay!
I had 2 teams in
I have
D1,
none.
and
I know you're about to
ran
bring up
essentially 2 Salzburg stacks in D1 teams last week, and I am now in D2 in both of those competitions, which is not bad.
Yep.
Flooding in Austria. I texted my friend. I was like, "Isn't it a landlocked country?" Like I was really confused. So But I mean, that's so rare, right? So now you work your way to get back up. And I really like what you're talking about there, Alex. Like it makes sense. And I'm not disappointed when I see that I have boxes. Like I said, this week wasn't my best week, but I knew I got a bunch of boxes and I knew I was going to get up to like that point where I was going to be able to rip like 2 cards, which is a lot of fun because it is still that who knows what's going to happen sort of thing. You know, like I just wanted to see and it's fun. And in worst case, a T3 is a T3. You can use it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it, you know, and I think that the grind has been fun so far for me. I mean, obviously, rewards are going to get shifted a little bit as we go forward because they have to recalculate all the time, like how many cards are getting pulled, how many cards are getting crafted. You know, a thousand T5s getting crafted every single Tuesday. It's probably not good for the star economy either, right? Like even if it's 1 out of 100, like you're still pumping out 10 of them. You know, like it's like this stuff still goes through on the math, right? And so it's just a very unique thing. You have to be patient. You have to be ready for more changes because the longer we do it, the more changes we're going to see to what comes down to. And I'm having fun accumulating, but I made rules for myself. And I think that what both you and Zach have said, what it really comes down to is you need to have some sort of a plan when it comes to Sorare. And I talk about this all the time on every single show I've ever been on. If you don't have a plan in Sorare, you are not going to do well. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you just throw money at it, it usually doesn't go well. So have a plan and understand like what you want to do, what you are satisfied with, like what makes you happy in the game. And and if it's buying a full stack of a team that is really bad and it doesn't win you much, but occasionally it'll pull you back something, that's great. I mean, look at your two hosts of this show. Like one loves them like Orlando and one loves Sporting KC. Like they love these teams going through there, and when they return, it's great. It's fantastic. But they know exactly what they're getting into. And I did exactly the same thing with Southampton. Like if it ever hits, it'll be fantastic. If it doesn't, oh well, so be it, right? But know what you want and what you expect out of the game, and have a plan. And I love Zach's idea of treating getting the essences and getting the boxes like you're winning a cap 240 kind of competition, but you can use all of your cards to do it. I think that's a really kind of cool way to look at it and have a long-term plan for what your goals are.
Yeah, it's just like you see your lineups like all hit like 300 because one guy doesn't get a slice, so you're like fuck. But then you look and you're like, oh, 12 boxes. Like that's like 3 cards.
Yeah, so if I had to do this all, if we went back to episode 1 and we'd started over again, maybe I like I said, I probably wouldn't go with the in-season champ that I have, and I would move that to a classic. And maybe looking at, because we still don't know how Essence is weighted, and I think that's one of the biggest. Yeah, I also had defeat.
Look at
We don't know how Essence is weighted, so it's hard to say when you dilute your pool with Challenger and Contender and U23 and Champ. How does that all play into the equation? And they don't want to tell us, so that way when they pull the levers, when they need to, you're not going to be screaming at them. You're just going to think it's just bad luck. So, like, I'm going to end up pulling a lot of, once I get into Champ, I have to be mindful that I'll probably pull more Contender cards than Champ cards while I have more lineups running in Contender. But shout out to Alex in the beginning when I said, let's go U23 because it'll be fun. I mean, if you switch over and you look at this gallery, like this thing has managed to get, well, you'll see like these are just like rewards and whatever, but like you're not going to see stars in here. You're going to just see some guys who were good value because honestly, Alex scouted them. I mean, minus this card, who hasn't been all that great. I mean, his AA is pretty good, but he's had a real rough.
I did not
go
say
of it.
buy Turkey. Do not put that on my record, please.
No, I'm not. I told you. I've expressed Turkey and how I feel about that many, many times. That it was my purchase. But anyway, this lineup, these cards have gotten me into. I'm in Div 2 now, and I'm competing there. Like I've won a couple Essence boxes from Div 2 with these guys. These are like nobodies as far as U23 stars go, you know. But like he put the legwork in, and I just kind of followed behind him, and I've made a few purchases since then to kind of bolster the team a little bit. And like so now I'm running one Div 2, one Div 3 U23 lineup from, I don't know, if you really take out Dashvili, it's probably, I don't know, $45, $50 like worth of guys. Like realistically, like some of them I just paid because I wanted to have the guy for the lineup, and other guys like I just worked on guys until I got the price I wanted. But like it's unbelievable. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this bum. He's $7. I can't even get rid of
A lot of
him.
these guys are going up too. Kuiper's gone up a lot.
Yeah. Simsier hasn't been as good as I'd hoped, but you know he'll come around.
Looking at your gallery is really fun, and I actually like doing this. Like when Harry does like gallery reviews or Quinny does gallery reviews, I love looking at other people's galleries and going, "Who the hell is that?" Like,
I had Harry do it. Yeah, Harry did it because I subscribed to him. So I just said, make me a U23. He was leaving looking at guys that I had that Alex had found. He's like, who is that? Like this Matthias Terrain. He's like, who is that? He pulled him up. He smashes. He was like, that guy's awesome. And I was like, yeah, you know, like this is where I got it for, you know, ATG, if you know who he is. And I'm like, and that's where like a few of these guys have come from. I'm like, I don't know. Hoping he gets back from injury soon. This will be a nice card to actually get playing. But yeah, like even Harry doesn't know, and he's like the U23 guy, and he doesn't know everybody.
I'm the new U23 guy. I've taken the throne.
I
might
don't know how
have.
this episode turned into gas up Alex, but we're gonna have to shut that down real quick.
Yeah, please do. My ego's
He's gonna
getting
go
too
to his
big.
head.
Yeah, I don't know, it's cool. I like these kind of things because those are all like there's a lot of guys in your
So, yeah,
gallery that you simply don't know, but like this is for, and this is good for like the community to know too. Like watch people do gallery reviews. You'll find some gems you would have never thought of or never heard of that are out there that are great for contender, challenger. You can get them at a lot cheaper prices too as it goes through there. And I don't know, it's a fun way to advance your scouting and figure out where to go, because I happen to have a whole bunch of like random U23s now. I'm trying to figure out like, do I even want to enter it kind of stuff? And seeing guys like in your gallery, Zach, and guys that like Harry has in his gallery, it actually helps me a lot figure out where I want to focus. And that's one other tip for people listening. There are a lot of really experienced people in here. And by in here, I mean in the game of Sorare and here on the podcast, right? So like if you have a plan, you want to do something, you're like, you know what, this person does this a lot. This person's really good. They win a lot. How did they win? Go look at their galleries, like see who they're buying. You know, if you want to dominate contender, go take a look at like recent purchases of like McBride, you know, and like outside of buying every single Celtic player, if he's buying top end guys to go along to complement. Yeah. Like follow the people that you trust, that you like, and figure out, like, look at what they're doing. And if you have questions, like ask, like, especially like in our group, I mean, you can always ask me, like, why on earth do you buy that random dude? And like, I'll always answer. And usually like the answer is because I wanted to boost up my bonus on X, Y, and Z to get it up there because the collection bonuses. But it's a good way if you're kind of new and you don't really know what you're doing, or you want to refine your gallery, to figure out good targets that are actually decently priced. And I mean, everyone on this show knows their MLS, and we know that the prices in MLS are dropping right now because it's the end of the season. And yeah, like Alex has been busy buying a bunch of dudes, as you can say, as he's flashing his phone. And
A bunch of messies.
he just showed
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Bunch
making.
of Messies.
If I had MLS cards at this moment, there'd be 3 Messis in the gallery immediately.
Yep.
Immediately, there'll be 3 for next season though.
I scooped it in season right after I heard a tidbit of the news that he could come back, and I'm happy since. Let's say.
So yeah, I mean, but and those are things. I mean, and it's like figure out what's important to you in this game, like, and that's where it really comes down to. Like, I bust on Jorge for his Orlando stack, but it's fun because it hits occasionally, and when it does, I get messages from Jorge saying that it hits, and it's kind of cool. And know your people. Like when you go through, like I bug Alex all the time for Sporting KC tips when it comes to rivals. Like, this is what some of your experts can help out with to help advance the game and get you more involved in the community too, which is one of the things I think is the most important part of this if you really want to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking at other galleries, and when you see that hidden gem that you thought, and they bought it too, you're like, hell yeah! It's like that validation. Like, oh yeah.
And if anybody's subscribed to Quinny or Harry or any of those guys that do these reviews, if you're like a member, I was like, I did not want to show my cards, to anybody. I just, like personally, you feel embarrassed by your gallery, but then you put it up there and like, it's not like the chat is heckling you or anything like that, like just putting thumbs downs and poop emojis all up in that thing. It's like, no, he just kind of goes through it. He says, this is what you need. This is, like you look thin here, and you kind of move on, and then you see the next person's gallery and you're like, oh, well, they're doing better at the defender position than I am. So what do they have in this same comp? But I would always say put your gallery up for a review against somebody because like it's not so bad. You'll be all right.
Should we do that? Should we do that on here? Gallery reviews?
We
I mean, I'm
can.
in no position to. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say not me. I'm not the
I'll just
person to do that.
I'll do it by
Let me see my
myself, and you guys
gallery.
just watch.
No, it's cool. I mean, and Zach's right. It's like part of this, like, we are not anonymous because we're here doing this stuff, but everyone can be anonymous. You just ask the questions and you get responses. I mean, I have Quinny review my gallery from time to time too, and he's like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. Like some guy that used to play for Luton, I guess, but and it's okay. Like none of these things are going to be perfect. Right. And it's good to listen and try to get an idea, especially if you feel stuck, when it comes right down to it, and yeah, my $700 Alicon. Yes. I remember owning his.
Hey man, but that was the time. That was the time. Like we all have those.
Yeah.
I mean, I've purged my gallery of everything, but yes.
Chris took advantage of me and sold me Alicon super rare.
Yeah, but I know at least the word is coming out, and I think it's been Harry and Laird that have been talking about it, where it's like it's time to just scrap everything that happened before New So Rare, and just kind of start over and figure out where you're going and figure out, like you say, like a strategy. Like that's the biggest thing, and it's hard for new users to come in and be like, oh, I'm going to pick this strategy or that strategy without them diving into hours of So Rare content that's out there in the So Rare verse, and like it's tough, and that's why I always say it too, where like. So Rare needs to do a better job at like when people are onboarding, like, hey, ask them what their favorite team is. If they support a club or anything, because then like, hey, that's probably a good place to start. Because if I would have spent all the money that I did on my stupid Orlando City, like jersey mints and one-ofs, I would have a smashing gallery. I'd be winning tier 1s and stuff all the time. But you know what? I just don't, because Orlando City is the Cardiac Cats, baby. And but the thing is that I'm not upset because they're still my guys. So whether their prices go up or down, like those are my guys, and looking at them doesn't upset me. But if I went and bought some like Bundes 2 gallery and bought the whole collection and they're just drowning in money like the Auger stack, I'd be pissed and I'd be having a bad time.
Yeah.
But like having something that you like and enjoy and are happy with.
But that Auger stack won Zach a bunch last year. Like that Auger stack.
No, I just got it. No, I got it just this year. It's in season as they were promoted.
Just salt the wound.
They won me $20 already.
La Liga 2 cards, like Chris Holdass, and La Liga 2 is still awesome. There are great guys in there. I still use them all the time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jorge, like if you didn't spend all of that money on number 1 mints and jersey mints and stuff like that, do you think that you could have put together a Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri type team in Classic? Like, and like that's the kind of thing.
Probably.
Like, obviously, don't want to look back, but like those are the things that like we don't know when we come in because like we want the guys we like. I mean, honestly, like you guys can laugh about it, but I spent 1 ETH on a Ben Bender super rare.
Oh, that's
Does anyone have a platform know who Ben Bender is? Because he doesn't play in MLS anymore. He's in the
Pittsburgh
US.
Riverhounds legend. Wait, where's he at? No, not Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Like Tulsa,
Charleston, I thought. I thought he was at Charleston Battery, but no.
Is it? I thought Chris.
Either way, he's in the USL. Okay, that tells you.
So,
and between his rare one of, his super rare one of, and his limited one of, I spent like 1.5 ETH. Like, yeah, and like it's just like, well, okay, I guess I'm not selling those cards. But you know what? There are 3 of my cards that are all at 20% level, and it's fantastic. But I mean, and that's kind of what it is. Like, don't look back. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
And
you can't.
I was on that better Shane. Yeah, of course, Thomas. Like, that's what happens, man. Like, he showed flashes, man. He was a decisive guy. Turned the ball over a lot, but couldn't get in the team now. He's probably not going to get in the team elsewhere. He needs more time to figure things out. Am I hopeful? No, but I'm still going to own the card.
So how
And-
this all got started too is before I had these 63 limiteds, I had put my gallery together with I think 9 or 10 rares. And this is the team I was running in MLS every week in and out. It was Kalina, Yamane, Puig, Paintsill, and Rusnak. This was the rare team I was running. And I was enjoying it, but I wasn't having fun. That's what it came down to. Running one team every week wasn't really winning me cards. This is before Essence too, like I wasn't winning boxes with this squad. It was fun, and I would hit something occasionally, but it was like a T5, T4 maybe. So it just wasn't hitting that itch of playing the game that I wanted. So I dumped them all, and I just took the cash, and I reached out to Jorge, and I was like, hey, I want to do this. You want? Well, I was like, no, you want to do this? Here's what I'm thinking. So I reached out to him. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And that's how we got started. But I dumped what would be considered 3 smashers in 4 smash, like Rusnak, Paintsill, Puig, and Kalina, to be 4 pretty good MLS rares to have. And I bought those guys before they hit. I bought them in the off season. I mean, I got Rusnak for $13. I got Puig, I think, for 100. Paintsill for 1. I think he was 180 when the news had come out that he was moving to the Galaxy. And then I had to get a Yamane just to keep the stack because I thought he would be better than he actually is. He's all right, but I thought he'd be better. Yeah.
The problem with that team is they just give up too many goals. Is what it really comes down to.
That's LAFC though.
I can confirm for you, Zach. Those are very good cards.
Yeah.
I use them all together in combination to win a lot. Actually, my team this week is Kalina, Puig, and Paintsill. Go figure, right? So yeah.
To be fair, those teams were not the teams they are now at the beginning of the season. If you look back, Seattle was
Rusnak,
just we were
Rusnak started horrible. Yeah. Rusnak was horrible.
Galaxy were eh.
But I knew how to build an MLS side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew how to build an MLS side. I understand this part of the game and especially MLS. I just wanted something more out of this, and this has been a lot more fun for me because I didn't care about the valuation of the roster, in that sense. I just wanted to play more lineups, and now I'm running 7 to 9 lineups a week right now, and it's fun. And I still watch MLS games every weekend. I still watch Miami every weekend, and it's time of my life. But
Partially
when they come back, I will have to go. Yeah, of course, because of Rivals. But when MLS comes back, I will put together a Miami team for Messi's last run. I think Suarez is going to come back despite everything. So it's going to be, I think, a good ride with the Barca boys. But back-to-back championships.
And Di Maria.
It's
Di Maria probably.
Having what you end up doing is you end up accumulating a lot of cards too, especially when you have studs like that. And it's fun to have those teams. I put together 30 teams every single weekend. And I'm one of those sick people that as soon as Sorare data opens up on Tuesday after it locks at 10 o'clock to set my lineup for the next week, I'm on there. I'm first attempt. And then
mine are already in too. Yeah.
Yeah. My next attempt is let's try this again. And then my third attempt is this one's less stupid than the last one. It's just I have so many teams. Let me finally get down to the last one and I hit the button. But it's fun. And I love doing that. And, the results aren't there a lot of times, but sometimes they are. And, we just keep playing, keep grinding the boxes. And I don't know. It's the small wins. You have to enjoy the little things that go through there because the day of a lottery jackpot winning kind of card here of winning Mbappe that's worth $40,000 just isn't in the game. It's not the game anymore. And that's okay. Yeah. Very few of us were here when that was a chance, but, it's just not at this point. And so we enjoy the game for what it is. The community, like I said, is fantastic. Listen to more podcasts like this. I've been listening to Jorge and Alex and exactly the whole crew for a long time. And even the most experienced players in this game, they do exactly the same stuff that you're doing. Like, this is kind of what happens. Like, and they figure these things out, and they have to do the research. They watch these shows. So, yeah, I mean, I say this on every podcast. Like, reach out if you have questions, like always, and I'm not going to talk much about strategy beyond what Zach was just talking about, because every time I open my mouth about how to do a strategy and beat the game gets changed. So I'm just going to be quiet about that one.
You expose them for what they are, and you take it.
The trick is
Also, generally speaking, I'm an idiot. Like, I'm an idiot. So don't trust me with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Jorge. I mean, I keep telling Jorge this. Play baseball, win money in baseball, spend it on soccer.
Tripling down on basketball, baby. Let's go.
Suck at basketball. Holy cow.
How
Are you still
baseball
getting
teams?
those hollow things from baseball? Bob,
What
you were getting like those? Weren't you getting like those weren't you getting like trophies from baseball?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I won a competition the other day. So
Ooh,
Yeah, like,
who
and then
was
you
it?
had
Who's your award?
something. Was it made of glass? Did it light up? I thought you had something that lit up.
I got that too. Give me a second. Let me put this. I'll
Yeah.
drop it. Special.
See, and this is why we brought Bob on. He's like, "Oh, winner." He's like, "I win a bobblehead for winning. I have like 20 of them now."
Dude, I make it a point too. I don't know if it's plugged in or not, but yeah. So this is what I got for winning.
Yeah,
That was the coolest
My
freaking
winning
thing.
lineup. So I won the World Series competition in baseball, which is like the UCL finals in football. And so that was a reward that actually Sorare put together. They made a deal with another company, and that was the reward. So that was my team with all their points they scored and all that kind of stuff. And I try to do something special every time I win a competition. So like this year, I won Classic Challenger D1 with MLS, and I won Cucho. So I bought a Cucho collectible card to go with it.
Oh, let's go.
So like this is kind of what I do. And like Zach, you would laugh at the cards I have here because like they're random, like Bundesliga 2
No.
and like you guys like that no one's ever heard
but that's
of.
the best. See, and the thing is, they can't do that with football. Unfortunately, is because of licensing issues. Like, they could do it if they did an MLS comp because it's a single entity, and I feel like they could send you essentially, what is that, like a digital frame with all the.
Ooh. So Andre Blake.
Oh,
Andre
Yeah.
Blake, you know what I won that for, Jorge?
What?
I won MLS Common.
Oh,
I won MLS Common.
see, Bob's a winner, man.
Yeah, dude. I've won at every level in Sorare, man. Like comedy unique, baby. Let's go. But yeah, stuff like that. It was really cool. When I got that, I had no idea, Zach, and I was like late on it. And it's those are the kind of things that are fun. Like my office is just covered in bobblehead head dolls and like memorabilia from Sorare. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. No,
That's so
Yeah.
sick.
but I
And
love
so-
that
no,
you
Bob
bring it
Bob
up.
knows how to win, and he tells you on the podcast. He tells you how to win, but it's like a family recipe. He just tells you to add sugar. He doesn't tell you how much sugar. That's all like in the knowledge. He's like, is it a cup? Is it a third?
Free
What do
pour,
we do?
baby.
I'm
Only
yeah.
Bob knows the secret.
Bob tells you how to win. He just doesn't tell you the amounts.
It's like making that cream of wheat oatmeal that like no one ever makes well. But Grandma knows how to make it. But I'm not going to tell you exactly how much you have to put in to make it delicious.
Yeah.
You got to figure that out on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it is. That's the community. We're all here to help each other beat each other. And like, dude, that's my whole life motto. Is like, if I spend every day listening to people that are smarter than me, eventually some of it's gonna rub off, right? And it's like you're not listening to people to do this, do that, but like every bit of information like helps you. You pick something over here, you pick something up there, get all this little trickles of information from all over the place, and then it just helps you refine your strategy and figure yourself out. And it just takes time. Like I think that's another thing people like want that instant gratification, right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna win immediately and everything's gonna be fine and dandy. And then they don't win that first game week for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden it's like, Sorare sucks. It's like, okay, well, dude, you just got here. All right, calm down, pay your dues.
I like that you said that, Jorge, because my first week in Sorare, I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes. I want to play. We'll see how we do. And I bought a whole bunch of like random Asian cards. And this is why I'm buddies with Hoodwink now, because I had no idea what an Asian team was or anybody on there. And I was like, Hood, I see you talking about this. Like, what do you think about these guys? Like, these are the guys you want. I was like, okay. And now I talk to Hood every single day. But that team won me a reward in All-Star back then. And like this was back in like late 2020, early 2021. And I don't know if I would have stuck with it if I didn't win that first week. It's that instant gratification that happened right away that helped me. But then over time, like now I'm just an old man and like I'm so used to be disappointed in the long run that I'm okay with this, you know? So just gonna keep saving my essences and slowly building up, guys.
I mean, listen, that's my story too. Like when I started, it was All Star. I remember the first time I hit 205 with a half mix of Scottish and Asia and guys from Asia. Because I forget whose podcast I was listening to. Back in the day, there wasn't that many. There was only like a few dudes doing them. And it wasn't Quinny at the time. It was somebody else. And like he just had a couple of gems in there that were cheap. Now, like these are like T5 scrubs, what we would consider scrubs, that were like 50, 60 bucks. And that's like the cheap card you would get like for your rare. But hitting 205 that first time, you were like, this game prints money. Like the first time you hit it, you felt like the game printed money. And it was like, this can't be
That's also
possible.
part of the problem.
Because it did. I mean, it was
It did.
back in the day.
Yeah.
5, you got 0.01 ETH. You hit 250, you got 0.02 ETH. Like
Before they
that was a lot
converted
back
it to
then.
cash, like before
Yeah.
they tied it, they pegged it to cash. You
Yeah.
could have won $10 or $100, just depending on the value of ETH that day.
Yep. It was a wild ride. And like I spent all of my Biden bucks.
Mike, so
on
rare on a
Sorare.
budget. You're right. That's who it was. So rare on a budget.
Yep.
Anybody knows
That's
it's
who it was.
Mike, okay?
Yeah, you're right, Mike.
He's the index of so rare content.
And so we're on a budget. Chris is a good guy. He's got me hooked on Dundee. I love the Dundee SPFL team now. Like shout out to Chris and so we're on a budget and Simon Murray. And oh man, I'm watching the SPFL on Paramount Plus because that's what I do.
Paramount Plus is great, isn't it? They have so many leagues. Isn't it the best?
We'll take
It
a
was
sponsor
Champions
too.
League today. Champions League. We got
Yeah.
Europa. It's fantastic, man. Yeah, it's too much at times. And like, I didn't think I would ever get to this point, but I got old all of a sudden, and now I love watching soccer, football, golf, and baseball. Like all of the old man sports, and you just like fall down to the couch and just like eat your Fritos and fall asleep. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've gone the other way with it, man. I used to watch so much baseball, basketball, and like American football for anybody, and now I can't, man. To me, like my two favorite things to watch are soccer and boxing. I cannot stand watching something with commercials. If it has commercials, I just can't do it anymore. Like yelling at the clouds. That's where I'm at now in my age. It's like, no, if you have commercials, I cannot stand a sporting event with commercials.
Just old man screams at son. Just
Yeah. So I just did boxing, and Black gave me a hard time when I was telling him I was watching a boxing fight like a few months back. I was like, dude, how can you not appreciate boxing? It's amazing. I think it was like one of Canelo's or one of Crawford's fights. I think it was Crawford's fight. And he was giving me a hard time about it.
It's incredible. I mean, boxing's nuts, but like I don't watch boxing anymore. I just think the only boxing I see is like when the random like Twitter feed comes up with like some dude punching another dude in the face and they get knocked out on the street, and it's hilarious and not good. Kids don't do that. But no, Chris, cap of 200 was like you could put anybody. Like you could play Mbappe and Benzema with Hakimi and Donnarumma and Kimmich, and if you scored 200, like you got 0.01 ETH. It was nuts.
And back then, if you saved all that ETH back then, man, you are sitting pretty. You were buying the whole platform at this point.
Ooh, gank, good card.
Well, but the thing was, man, you weren't. Like that point when ETH
Putting
was
it all
like
right back.
a tenth of the way to another card that you wanted. Like the cards were so expensive.
Yep.
Like saving that ETH didn't do much for you. Oh,
Yep.
a U23 mid? Yeah, he's U23.
Okay, I have to spawn more essence. 1 sec.
Yeah, I've got a gank stack. I bought it for the JPL.
Oh,
Oh,
Ooh, wait,
who is that?
Armor box.
Oh, a little U23 action. Well,
Who's that
actually,
guy?
Dude, you've been
Find out,
pulling out
find
those
out.
boxes lately.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like Alex is
What
the
can I
perfect
say?
proof. Like he nutted up, he consolidated, he went for smashers, and now he's just ripping boxes left and right. This dude's pulling like
This dude
3 or 4
fucking
cards a
sucks.
week, dude.
Wait, there's a cap 200 special this week.
Yeah, this weekend. There's a
10
Cap
essence,
200
10
this weekend.
essence, 10 essence, 10 essence.
Dude, man,
how do
Cap
you
200 is the worst.
You can't.
Oh.
Right. I mean,
Dude, nobody liked Cap 220, and they were like, you know what we're gonna do? Cap 200.
like I
Yeah.
could put Yokas and like 4 guys with a 0 average. Like that's it.
We'll see. So Cap 200. See, this is the problem. Us old vets who have played this game and realized to dump the garbage out of your thing. You can't play Cap 200, and that's by design. Like this isn't meant for you to be playing, Bob.
Oh, I don't care.
It's meant for the.
I'm
Yeah, just play like a DMP guy. You know, just play
Oh,
like
man.
4 guys with a DMP.
so
But yeah,
excited.
like
Cap 200.
I saw a few. I saw a
Here,
few
look
other
at this
people
game.
complaining about not being able to get into Cap 200. I'm like, that's because you're not supposed to be playing it. It's not
Right,
for
it's-
you.
It's not for you.
Who's my worst goalkeeper? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, Cap 200 is kind of fun because it's just like a stab in the dark, right? It's like, hey, something good might come of it, but yeah. But
Yeah, if you can
it's,
get somebody in there, like, yeah.
Chris Brady, 40 average. Thomas Kaminsky, 29
Oh, that's
average. Let's go. 29. We can do that.
hey, maybe
Heyo.
Melia I can get out. Hey,
Oh,
talk about
man.
how good Melia is right now, Alex. I need to pump my Melia bag for
Yeah,
220.
you saved a
200.
penalty, saved a Rusnak penalty. You guys are welcome for ruining your lineups.
Oh, that destroyed my lineups. Yeah, dude.
Did kill my lineup.
Yep.
I could have put another
Yep.
box.
I will say you were talking about earlier, like how like even if your team like they barely smash, when they smash it's fun. My best moment of this season is when I hit 400 points with Sporting and got opted out by 2 points for $40 when we
I'll
beat
tell you.
Orlando 3-0.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Why you always gotta bring it up?
Got a 4-star box though, so
Man, I've got guys that fit in this team.
other
How
way.
Oh,
Well,
that's
it's
one.
like for
24.
pros.
This is fantastic. Oh, I'm excited now, guys.
Oh,
For
and you can play
boxes?
triple. Can you get 3 in there, Bob? That's the real question. Can you get 3? Because it's
Crack now,
multi-entry.
cracking now.
Cracking it.
No, I'm going
Cracking
to.
now. Oh, what? I'll pull a card. I'm giving you the juju.
Oh, a little level up.
Those guys. Oh man, I'm excited now. This is fantastic.
60 essence. Come on.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
two Jimmy Mowers. That's smart.
Why not?
Yep, slide it.
Yeah, we sliding.
Slide.
Bob, do
we
you have
crap-
any essence to rip on the show?
No, I ripped it before. I am not a good person.
Oh, new news.
So we
Bossy.
didn't get into champ cards. and
Metcalf.
I know we're gonna be wrapping up soonish, but we didn't get the champ cards. But like, ping me or build up a watch list or something, and like let me know what to look for, and we'll kind of continue this and keep it going.
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
Is,
Oh yeah,
is
if
a
you've got something to show.
decent option.
I have 2 teams. So
Okay.
one of them,
Reveal 'em.
Bundesliga, like we were saying. I went Leipzig. They don't really concede too many goals. They have a okay-ish keeper, Gulaxi, who's gonna lose his job next year to Van de Voort. Pretty sure. Yeah, they just picked him up. But they have like smash players at every position. Bundesliga, like we were saying, isn't really tapped into that much. And then the other one, which I think is a really fun one, is Nottingham Forest in the Prem. They've conceded, I want to say, 2 goals this year so far, and have given up the least amount of big chances. So yeah, conceded 1 to Bournemouth and 1 to Wolverhampton. Got some good matchups: Fulham, Palace, Leicester, West Ham coming up. Ipswich, like they have a good run coming up, and they're actually proving to be pretty good. Moreno just came back from injury, so he can be your smash mid. Morgan Gibbs White's on pens. He's and they just got James Ward-Prowse too, if you want to be able to stack that.
Yeah,
which he was a smasher when he was at West Ham and at Southampton.
He was.
And then
He smashed for like the first 2 weeks, dude. Then I bought him and he sucked.
and then Hudson Odoi, which is like one of the best.
Man.
Hudson Odoi is one of the best U23 forwards in the Prem. He smashes really well. So yeah, I think those are 2 really good options. Nottingham Forest being a bit cheaper.
All right. Yeah, and
And you
Leipzig,
can also-
okay.
You can also put Nottingham Forest into the Premier League competition too, if you want, if they have a really good matchup.
Which
So,
is hard.
Look out for those.
I mean,
those
you know, I'm just waiting for Jota to get those starts. He's going to be the cornerstone of this whole thing.
So you're
Jota's
going to
be my cornerstone.
you're gonna
Man.
build a Ren stack.
No,
But,
he's going to play with whatever. It'll be no. It's going to be a Bundesliga team with Jota or Nottingham Forest with
No,
Jota.
just make a Ren stack. Mandanda smash, Ostergaard smash.
The problem is Ren,
Blas
like,
smash.
since they don't have license anymore, those cards aren't being made, so like
And the
they
goat.
become a little bit pricier. I noticed.
Jorge, you care if I display my 200 team? This is what you can do with a Cap 200 team.
Oh god. Oh.
no,
This
man,
is
let's-
gonna be fun.
go for it, man.
This is gonna be such a
let's do
cool
this
team.
thing.
I already know.
Let's do this. I'll show these
Yeah.
teams again.
Jimmy Maurer and 3 zeros.
Right? No, that's not. That's what I'm running for.
I'm just gonna throw my sporting lineup into 200. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
This is what you get with a Cap 200 team.
just a couple special editions, no big deal.
Is Kaminsky gonna start?
Dude, he is their starter.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
Yeah, Luton's that
That's
bad, dude. Like, they're not good. So you can fit
He's like coming.
that's
It's Tim Melia.
Archer and
Man.
Jota in it with starting keepers. Like, so this is possible within 200.
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, right?
special edition Eze.
Yep.
Oh, play Tyler Hall for mine.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly could do that. And that is,
No, that's a really good team though.
but yeah, I can buy. Can't put a key in there. Go figure. So,
Oh, 220.
so I mean, this is like within the realms. Like, obviously, I'm not going to do this because Etsy will be using a real team. But you can do stuff like this. This would be fun. That would be kind of big nuts in it to go out with this team and try to win this, huh? What are the actual awards? Ooh.
And that deflates. And that deflates the new user experience when they see that this is what's being put into 200.
What is it, like 12 cards? How much is it?
No. It's star card, a couple star cards for podiums.
Four stars.
But
man.
then,
no.
yeah, 4 stars, and then like
18
T1s
stars.
all the way to 60th. Yeah,
Shit.
T1s all the way to 60th, and then T2s all the way to 190.
Yep.
Not bad.
But I think a lot of the negative sentiment about specials is that everyone uses them as throwaways, and then they get mad that they're not winning anything. It's like, hey, maybe you should look at the calendar that they release ahead of time. And like cat mode obviously is an outlier with that, but yeah, if you're gonna use it as throwaway, like don't get mad when you have terrible results. So, like, focus up on it, man. People that have focused on specials before win big. So
And this is what's changed from Sorare, right? Like normally, Cap 200 special, if I can fit that team in, I run that team out there. Right? I run that team out there in rare because it's got 3 guys that all have the potential to score. Right? All get like decisives. And that defender, believe it or not, is actually pretty solid. Luton's got a good matchup. Like that's an ideal team to put in there if you don't have any zero smashers. But now I've been so shifted by the in-season cash rewards that I'd rather use Cam Archer and Jota and Etsy in a cash reward competition. So like that's a big shift in here. So that team that I just put in there, you can fit. You can probably buy that team and limit it for less than $30 if you really wanted to. And go out there and put it in. Right? Like it's not an overly expensive team. Etsy is the only one that's going to be expensive of that entire crew. So you can certainly do it, but it's going to take some work.
right. But how many of those guys are going to be usable going forward? Or are you just buying it with the expectation that, hey, this is weak, I'm sinking $30 in after that, and then just whatever happens, happens? That's ideally the thought.
I
right?
mean, like, I hear you.
I would say
like,
3 are definitely usable.
Well, yeah, I mean,
3
I
are
have
definitely usable.
at least 3. I mean, obviously the Asian player is going to be done in like 5 weeks, but he's a solid starter that has, decisive ability. But Kaminsky is the starting goalkeeper. Etsy is obviously usable. He's one of my favorite cards that I own, actually. Archer has moved into the starting spot, and they just signed him in, and Southampton's been terrible. So, like, you're looking for a decisive from him, but decent AA. And Jota's Jota. Like, Jota's either going to get, like, 3 penalties called for him, or he's not going to do it. That's usually what he does. So, boomer bust kind of guy. But, like, that's the kind of team that you can fit in there. And like I said, it's different when a cap 200 team is going to be different at the start of the season versus now when you have guys coming off and like with the 0 cap. But there are considerably they're just not as many as those cheat code kind of guys. And I'm sure that other podcasts will be talking about like who are the 0 smashers that you can jam into there, and inevitably they'll suck. Is usually what it comes down to.
You know who's good for that competition? That super sub that Zach just pulled. Super sub off the bench. His cap is probably low, but he's doing it off the bench, baby. That's it.
Here,
Is
do,
that
Now
what
they
you-
get 35.
Yeah.
do you want to see my 200? It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Look at this.
The problem is
Oh,
the
it's
super sub
perfect.
has a cap hit of 57 because he scores all
Oh,
the
The
time.
no-show.
Not Reno show.
Oh wow. Oh, I'm happy now.
The no-show himself.
Yeah, the
Wow.
international helps.
This is it. This is the time.
Yeah, Mike. He lost PKs to Mateta. At least Mateta took him last weekend too, so that kind of bugged me.
There it is. But hey,
That's-
dude,
Yeah,
hey,
it's What they say? On-field decision for whoever takes it. That's
Is it
very
really?
interesting. That's what they said. They said those two decide between themselves who's going to take it whenever there's a pen.
who
Well,
Mbappe and Vinny?
Need to slip Betsy a
No,
little note.
Mateta
that says,
has it.
I need you to take the ball. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
For my FPL team, please.
Gross. All right. Well, now that
Yeah,
FBL's
I got rid of
being brought up, dude, Zach, do we feel so? The question we brought Bob on, we got all the answers, we got some strategy. Zach, I need to know the answer from you, the man with the plan on this road to glory. Are we winning? What's the verdict?
Yes, we are winning. And that's why I wanted to really talk about that. If you really look at rewards and boxes, and for anybody who doesn't really like look at their percentages, take a moment and do it and look at your gallery and just go week by week and see what you've pulled. And I think if you're hitting, we used to say 30%. If you were winning 30% back in the old days, and that was like the 240 days,
Right.
when you wanted to hit 240. If you were hitting like 30 to 40%, that was considered to be a pretty high success rate for most 240 players. So you just have to kind of apply that now through the lens of essence.
Right.
And I know like cracking at T5, like I wouldn't do it in rare. I'd probably try to hold for 3, but it would probably go at 4, to be honest. At least when I get started. Just to accumulate some guys and hope I hit something to go wide. Because that's the whole idea here, always, in this road to glory, is going wide once I decide to step into a comp. I don't want one team, I want to get to 3. It may start as 1, I may add on depending on wins and cracks to getting there, but I do want to get 3. Like now I'm starting to get oversaturated on Challenger
Right.
with cards. Like I'm having a hard time. Like I have 6 goalies. That sort of becomes a problem because I can only run 3. Or I get into in-season, which now I'm starting to open up the new cards, which will allow me to crack into in-season. I just don't ever like using the goalie as my out-of-season card. I always prefer to have a smasher if I was going to do it that way. But, you take what you can get when you're doing this kind of thing.
So, Zach, I don't remember. Did you start? How many teams did you start off with? Did you start off like with 2 teams, or did you go with 1? Like, what did you start off with?
No, we took a value of what I had after selling my my rares,
The rare still that's it.
which
Okay,
was
so-
about like between 250 and 300 at the time, or like and then I had a little extra behind that. But yeah, so we just did that, and then we just talked about. I said, okay, what should we do? U23 because it's going to be fun chasing the youngsters, and
Mhm.
Challenger because it's the easiest barrier to entry to get 3 teams.
Yep.
The cards are the cheapest. It's easier to get. So now when I was like starting, I was outlaying I think 3 or 4 teams, and now I'm already outlaying 7 to 9 teams, 9 game weeks into the year. So it expands pretty quickly.
Because this is what I've always wondered with the road to glory: is it better to buy 8 great players and only have 1 team and pick the matchups and win that way, or start off with 2 to 3 teams and spread yourself thin? Like I don't know what the answer to that question is. I'd be really curious to try it for myself because the type of person and personality that I have, I want to buy a stud team. If I have a $250 budget, I'm spending $249.99 on 8 studs, and I'm working from there. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah, and I'll tell you the opposite side of that. So that's one way, and I'm hoping if I go the 8-player stud matchup that I'm
Yep.
hitting T3s consistently, because with one team I'm only getting one box.
Yep.
And it's again how I value boxes. I value boxes completely different because it could be one essence, it could be 10, it could be 20. So
Yep.
I value just getting into the box threshold higher than having a chance at a T2 essentially. And that's just the way I look at it. And that may not be the right way, but that's just how I view what I'm doing.
and I think that
I don't
makes
think
sense.
there is a way.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
I think that the right way before the boxes already. I think that you wanted to be as strong as possible in one team
Yes.
for the boxes. But with the boxes, I think that getting as many as you can to build up the essence to rip and hopefully get something is a much better way to get wide, as Zach says. And I mean, once you get wide enough, if you got guys like if you're planning to go champ and you pull a couple challenger guys, like you sell those guys, like you have the opportunity to make adjustments as you go through. And I am all about constantly changing your gallery. My gallery almost never stays the same. I don't sit on my guys for a long time. I will move guys.
And here will be here's another principle I live by, which I'm sure most people will hate this, but I brought this up a long time ago to Laird on a show. If I pull a reward and the guy does not fit what I'm doing, like he's just another midfielder who has a 57, like I have 5 of those guys, he is worthless to me. I will trade him to a bot for 30% of his current value because he holds no value to me when I can get a card that will help me. It is not my job to hold the floor of cards. It is my job to unload the crap I don't want. And people get upset and the floors are always dropping because it's undercutting. That's because you expect the next guy down the line to hold the value for you when he has no obligation to do so. We're all fighting for the same things. And if it's a card that doesn't help my gallery, I will give him away basically to a bot because I can't wait on people like haggling me for 50 cents. You know, like I don't have time to keep going back and forth with somebody. Just give me an outright offer, or actually, and most of the time I don't even ask for cash. There's usually a card I want in the gallery, so then I start manipulating it to get that card that I want.
Yeah, that's the key.
So that's just one way I look at cards too.
Zach, have you used any of the trading bots to improve your cards at all?
Santonio.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
I've kind of given up on Basil and Sir Hiss. And Pavel now is just a little bit harder to get to. Like, he doesn't... I also don't want to wait a whole day for him to get back to me. That's another thing. So I just go to Santonio. One, because I'm playing limited, and he is the limited guy. He usually has all the studs. And he's reasonable, honestly, for a bot. If you've dealt with him recently, like, before all the openings, because I know he was getting flooded. But prior to that, when I was putting this all together, he was very easy to deal with. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I like Santonio personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. The bots were a little rough around the edges, but they're coming back. But hey, dude, we've been here for an hour and 18
Well, we just had Powell forever,
minutes.
And then we got I forget the other guy who used to try to give you credits, and you have to click on his link to go to a spreadsheet on his website. Which bot was that?
That was Basil, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't Basil. It was
Hiss?
Ruv.
Ruv. Yeah, swap bot. Yeah, that became insane. Dude, I don't want credits to your bot. Get out of here with that. Just, we either make a deal or we don't.
But Bob,
yeah, there's a few others that are good.
Thank you so much for being here. You are always welcome. Anytime. We have proven that you can win in So Rare, but just winning some boxes and doing all that stuff. Zach, thanks for having the gallery. Thanks for going on this adventure with us. Alex, thanks for showing up. Bob, do you have any last little tidbit that you can leave the people before we go on and get out of here and enjoy life?
No.
All right, that's it. You get what you get, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Straight to the point. Bob, thanks so much for everybody that was here. Y'all are amazing. Do all that fun stuff that you're supposed to do, liking stuff. Bob is a legend, and we will see you later on this week. Y'all are the goats, man. Incredible. And hey, keep on winning those boxes, baby. It's